Hello everyone and welcome to the August 2023 release video hop. Here is a sneak peek at the project we're going to create today. I chose to work with the Exotic Plumerias. I was so excited when I saw this stamp, stencil, and die set. I knew I had to create with it, and I also used the Dex Planks 3D embossing folder on my project. So now I have a piece of cardstock in my stamp wheel and I'm treating it with anti-static powder tool. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my stamp, and I was picking my sentiment. I decided to use Aloha, and now I'm going to ink those up with Obsidian pigment ink. I'm going to go ahead and heat set these with crystal clear embossing powder. And the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to stamp with a beautiful crisp obsidian, but I wanted to stencil immediately. I didn't want to wait. So I like to use the embossing powder because it makes sure that I won't get any bleeding or having to wait for the ink to dry where it is a pigment ink. So we're beginning with stencil 1, A1, and the maple yellow. Then on this same section, we're going in with Autumn Blaze, and I'm adding it where I think it would be darker. Finally, we're coming in with Magenta, and I'm adding that. So over the orange part, it gives me a really, really pretty kind of reddish, pinkish color. It's just gorgeous. So now we're on stencil 1, and we're moving over to A2 on the stencil. And I'm going through the same steps where I color it all with the maple yellow. Then I go in with the Autumn Blaze and add where I want my depth and dimension. And finally I come in with the magenta and I add that in the areas I think that would be the darkest. And then we'll move on stencil 1, and we're set on section A3 now. And we're going to go ahead and use the maple yellow, Autumn Blaze, and magenta again. I did not fill in the little dots that are over to my right and the bottom right of the stencil. I really wanted to use my must-have gel pens to fill those in. And my room is in a state of moving boxes at the moment because I'm having my floors done. So I didn't get to get them, but that was what I wanted to do. That was my plan. Now you see me over the Aloha blending with a small blending tool, and I'm still blending with maple yellow, Autumn Blaze, and I'll come in with the magenta. I thought it might be nice to have the sentiment match the same colors that I used on the floral. I didn't end up liking the idea after I die cut it. I loved it on that sheet right there, but then it just didn't work for me once I die cut it. So now we're on stencil 2 and we're doing the leaves B1, and we're starting with Mountain Mist, Volcano Lake is what we're doing now. And once we're completed with that, we'll come in with Lagoon. I went through all 4 colors just to add some depth and dimension and gorgeousness, and Emerald is my final color here. And I will use Emerald on the stencil 2, B2, the second section there. I'm going to just really, really pack in that emerald color. So I'm really putting it heavy. And this leads to a mistake. I should have wiped it off here. I should have wiped it off because remember, and I did do the other one off camera. So now I'm going to die cut, which I will do off camera as well. Remember, because we clear heat embossed, the ink sits on top of the embossing. So that means when I run it through my die cut machine, the first one die cut beautifully, life is good, everybody's happy. My second one got some of the green leaf ink on it. So I had to change my plan just a little bit I just changed the layout. I just kind of rotated the flower. So that's where I decided I really liked the black and white Aloha. So that's what I went with. And again, my Instant Dimension foam tape is missing. I will link it in the supplies because it is my favorite thing in the whole wide world, as most of you know. If you've ever watched my videos, I love Dimension and I love Altenew Instant Dimension foam tape. So I'm applying that, and now I'm learning. I'm wiping the extra off before I go ahead and flip it over to put the dots on there. I finally learned my lesson. So make sure if you do clear heat embossing, wipe off your work with a clean towel. Just save yourself. Here I'm trying to figure out how to place it in the bottom of the floral. You can see kind of some green on there that shouldn't be there. So I was able to just strategically place it, and it all worked out fine. So I'm putting my foam tape on the back of my Aloha. I'll put that into place. We will trim off, sorry for the paper screams, trim off the extra pieces here. And that will complete our card. I will find myself reaching for this set again and again. I can feel it. It's just such a beautiful set and just absolutely stunning. I hope you enjoy the rest of your hop. And to all of those out there, happy crafting.